We told you we wanted to go to Elysium, but the reason why we wanted to go there was to beg our father to let us die. So forget us, Rex. For the sake of the world, abandon us. You can make it to Elysium. You can make it, with or without us. So please.
What would be the point of that? You really think I can just stand by like this? And watch someone I love suffer?
This is how it feels to be Pyra and Mithra, standing on the crossroads of destiny. A body lying in silence, a mind reduced to its lowest point. Yet their coarse perception isn't needed to be aware of that proud, valiant struggle on the cliffside. Even blind to the world, they see the figure of the one who persevered in the face of hopelessness. Even deaf to the ebb and flow of the ether, they feel the tides of emotion from the core they shared with their driver, and the sincerity of love that he held for them both. The gates of their heart, weary from a night colder than any other, knows now only warmth, from the understanding and support he offers them, from the steady footing he now holds as he does so. Even though all they've wanted is for him to be free of their nightmare, his words pierce the walls of their spirit to strike the center of their being. Bit by bit, the poison whispered into their ears begins to fade into the ether.
This is our whole being. This is the power we were granted at birth. So, Rex, are you still sure you want this?
When they each opened their eyes and stood before the power that had haunted them since resonation, two of them looked upon it, grimly, solemnly, as souls that had long suffered under its message. This was their final test for their driver, a challenge that had broken the back of their resonator under its weight, and a truth that had to be revealed in order for all three to move forward with honesty and confidence. Did their driver want them? With absolutely everything that came with them?
Tell me, do you love this world?
Yes, Mia, Azurda, and you, Rex. I love this world because you're in it.
Well then.
The warmth of dawn's first light was shining onto them through the storm clouds of a blizzard. They had always loved the world they had been born into. Everything they had done, misguided or not, successful or not, they had always done in pursuit of a positive future for Allrest. And now, they had found someone who represented the ideal they had thought lost, who stood by them even through their darkest night, when the desolate truth of their being was laid bare for the world to see, when their souls froze in the arctic prison of their own shadow. One took his left hand, the other his right, an oath conveyed without words, a future faced together.
Apologies, Rex. Worry not. All is well. I am lost no longer.
The passion emanating from his soul flows over them and around them, as though they had stepped into a sparkling waterfall, lost in the lush tendrils of a forgotten rainforest. When Pyra and Mithra finally opened themselves to the embrace of that shimmering stream, after so many years of uncertainty and strife, they knew themselves for the first time. The cloud that had darkened their mind for over half a millennia lifted around them, and what remained was a lucidity that neither soul had ever known before. Why they had been given this gift was without importance. It was an echo from the past of the vision they had been granted, or a whisper of the future Adam had wished for. All that mattered for the infinite now was who they were, and what they were. They are the calamitous potential of their artifices, suspended within the cold infinity above the sky and the arcane depths of the clouds. They are the bells of anxiety and misery in their spirit, and they are the supportive warmth that rises from their driver's soul to soothe their ringing. Part of them is Rex. They are the flow of ether from the core in his chest. They are the intensity of his unconditional compassion. They are the gleaming armor of white and jade that unify them. And they are the single life they share through their promise to each other.
I've made a choice as well. Not to live in fear.
Pneuma is both of them locking eyes with the question of what it means to be an Aegis. It's the Great War's permanent mark on their souls, and the experiences that would remain with them forever. It's their deception at the surface of their mental prison, and the raw agony unleashed from their depths. It's the poison of their nurtured hatred towards what they believe they are, and the antidote of the one that yet still thought them to be a positive force for the world. They are the caring conviction that allows them to believe that their purpose is not set in stone, even as the world said it was. They are the words from their partner that once held sway over them, and they are the choice to define themselves. They are the belief that they, in the end, were what they chose to be, and they are that belief's manifestation in their ability to rewrite reality. They are the experience of walking both paths an Aegis could take, and they are the manifestation of this spiritual enlightenment, the Pneuma that their core seeks. Trinity Core Pneuma is all of these things, but most importantly, they are still Pyra and Mithra.
I want to apologize for having burdened you with all this.
Don't worry. We're actually grateful. Thanks to you, Father, we got to meet Rex. And everyone else. Those are cherished memories.
That's why they can simply smile, even when all their trauma is still present in their heart. Even support as revitalizing as Rex's can't cure someone of the memories that have built who they are, and they don't eliminate the influence of those psychological wounds that burden their heart. But it can reassure, it can encourage, it can support. That's what Pneuma is, symbolic of a spiritual enlightenment, representative of emotional support itself. Multiple souls, multiple people in a single body, living as they are, without needing to be cured of their plurality. Their idiosyncrasies will challenge them along the way, and that's okay. Mithra can and does still shut down in response to the past. Pyra can and does still struggle to be honest and upfront. Both find themselves unable to manage the weight of their emotions, of their guilt and responsibility, but that's a part of them, and it has to be accepted to begin healing. They remain a work in progress, strong and broken at the same time, separate in their identities and united in Jade. There will always be conflict in their hearts and difficulties with their mentalities, but they've found the supportive love to work with these situations when they happen, instead of being overwhelmed by them. Just as they've been equipped with the supportive love to rewrite the truth of their purpose. This is how an Aegis creates their identity, and eventually becomes more.
Rex, I'm so glad to have met you. Our time together was short, a fraction of my long, long years. But it's been warmer and brighter than any time I can remember before. You shone a light on my melancholy path. You showed me the way.
As the light of one of the two Trinity cores gave way to the darkness of eternal rest, there was an understated elegance in how the other rose to greet the same fate. Where once the maelstrom of the station's frantic collapse may have overwhelmed them, Now the chaos was invisible to their eye, prompting only the rise of a warm smile, tinged with melancholic gratitude and words spoken only to themselves. The most significant shifts in their lives, caught within a moment of their eternity. The brilliance of one person's life, bringing daylight to the longest night, showing them the way to live, the way to reconciliation. Whether they lived or died in this final act of Pneuma, it made no difference. Their journey reached the same conclusion. They were no longer puppets of another's will, no longer following a path determined by misguidance. Rex had wished for them to be free, and that's what they'd achieved.
Thank you for that, Rex. Thank you for that gift of light.
In standing where they were, in being who they were, they had made their defining decision. When the tapestry of Pneuma's final performance came to life, it wouldn't be echoing the firestorm of a struggle for domination. It wouldn't be replicating the pointless devastation of a war between partners. It wouldn't be a part of their aimless misery, their murky walk through centuries of corruption, the ruin that had been wrought upon the two Trinity cores. It would be breaking the cycle of old Earth, the cycle of all rest, the cycle of mortal hubris, in their own way, as the power of the destroyer becomes the power of the protector, the ideal of a beautiful future, the upholding of what they should have been built to preserve, a peaceful harmony, just as Rex believed they could.
So tell me, how was it, being alive?
At the very end of eternity, there is only the central question for the two remaining souls. A reminiscence on conscious existence, free of hostility, free of judgment. A truly centered existence, as the Trinity was always meant to be, as Ontos was, as Logos had become, as Pneuma was about to be. Their response?
Do you really want to know? Well,
If Logos continued to watch, he would discover the truth he sought. No matter whether this was their end or the light of a new era, Pneuma's sacrifice was their answer.